If you're not that serious about going off-road, but you're still looking for a Land Rover that has the capabilities of going out bush, maybe this is worth a look. This is the new 2024 Land Rover Discovery Sport P300e, and bonus points, it's a hybrid. It competes against other medium luxury SUVs like the Audi Q5, BMW X3 and Volvo XC60. And I've been driving this for the last week with my little family of three to see just how it stacks up. The Discovery Sport is offered in 4 variants, and the model on test here today is the mid-spec plug-in hybrid variant, which is priced from $102,125 before on-road costs. The plug-in hybrid powertrain makes it $10,000 more than the top-spec Disco Sport. But in terms of its rivals, it does sit closer to the more affordable end of the market. However, our test model has a lot of optioned extras, which ups the costs and its position in the pack. Those options include a technology pack for $4,700, which adds a digital rear view mirror, head-up display, and a 360-degree view camera system with weighed sensors. The fixed panoramic sunroof also costs $3,040. Further additions include an updated Meridian surround sound system, 20-inch alloys, heated front seats, titanium trims, and a home charging cable, which adds $6,100. That brings the grand total up to $117,290 before on-roads, which is no small sum for what is essentially just a baby Land Rover. There are some nice features included, like powered front seats with 3-position memory function for the driver's side, as well as synthetic leather upholstery, and the update also sees wireless connectivity for the Apple CarPlay, an upgraded suite of technology throughout the car, as well as extra storage cubbies. The full specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Disco Sport shares new underpinnings with the Range Rover Evoque. There has been a minor facelift, but honestly, unless you're a die-hard fan, I don't think you're going to notice anything different. It still has the shape and styling that people know and love about the Disco Sport. It's once you head inside that the update becomes far more apparent. Gone is the more traditional looking E-shifter, and in its place is this rather nubbly looking one. The accent panels are wider and more well padded on the dashboard, and on our test model we have the oyster and black accents for the upholstery, which just really ups the luxurious look. The dashboard is headlined by a floating effect, 11.4-inch touchscreen multimedia system, and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, both of which look really good, but you are 100% reliant on those tech screens as there are no other buttons or dials. Even though this is technically classed as a medium SUV, this cabin space is one of the largest I've been in for a little while. And it's an easy car to get in and out of too because of the 212mm ground clearance. But in terms of head and legroom, plenty. And even when you have a co-pilot, you're not jostling for elbow room. I like that the center console features an extra cubby and that the bin storage in each door is extra large now. So individual storage is pretty good for the class and decently sized. I like too that the fixed panoramic sunroof, which is an optional extra, makes the cabin feel really light and airy, and that it has a memory function. So if it's open when you turn the car off, it will close and then reopen when you turn the car back on. The car is brand new, and this could just be a teething issue, but the multimedia system is very annoying to use while on the go, and I actually found it to be quite glitchy too. The wireless Apple CarPlay and just Bluetooth connections seem to drop out a lot, and you have to reconnect them. Sometimes you can't even get CarPlay screen up, it goes back to a settings screen, and then other times the screen just goes black, which is annoying because all of your features and climate control are embedded in that tech screen. I like that you get Android Auto and a built-in satellite navigation in this. The sat-nav is really clear and simple to use, which is great, and the head-up display and digital instrument cluster do pull through the directions. With the update, you also get 3 fast USB-C ports and a wireless charging pad to choose from. The back seat is massive on space, and even someone tall is going to find a lot of comfort back here. I like too that the seats are very comfortable. You do sit on top of them rather than in them, but that's pretty typical for any SUV. And the amenities back here are pretty good too, with directional air vents, mat pockets, a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders, as well as a small storage pocket. You get 2 USB-A ports and 2 USB-C ports, as well as a 12-volt socket back here, which is great. And on the backs of the seat, I really like that you have an accessory hole, which will be easy to hook up a device if you have kids in the back. For any families out there, this row has ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats, plus 3 top tethers. I do think you'd be able to get 3 child seats back here if they're not too big, and I'd like too that this row has a 40-20-40 split, which just opens up storage options too. The boot is a great size at 897 litres, and housed underneath the flat floor is a temporary spare tyre, and this model comes standard with a power tailgate, which I always like. The Discovery Sport P300e has a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder plug-in hybrid turbo-petrol engine with an 8-speed auto transmission and is an all-wheel drive, and can do a 0 to 100 km/h sprint in 6.6 seconds. But in practice, it's not always amazing at utilising that power. Once you're up to speed, there's enough power to keep your speed consistent on hills or overtake when necessary. I did find though that the initial lag when you accelerate from a full stop is quite underwhelming for me, and I would just give far more time than you would expect to join or cross traffic. Besides a little bit of laggy acceleration, the Disco Sport actually handles itself pretty well in cornering and just on the open road, where it can feel really easy to maneuver, and it doesn't feel like a big car despite the fact that the cabin feels massive. The switch between the electric and petrol components isn't always the smoothest, but when it's in pure electric mode, it is blissfully quiet in here. And on a whole, the cabin feels really refined because there's pretty much no external noise, which is fantastic. The high ride and wider windows also makes the visibility really good in this, and I always like that in an SUV. I also quite liked having the digital rearview mirror in this because sometimes you have a blocked window for whatever reason, and it's nice having another viewpoint. The Disco Sport is really nimble and easy to maneuver because of that optional 360-degree view camera system and the sensitive front and rear parking sensors. It's really no trouble, even in a tight Westfield or small car park. The official combined fuel cycle consumption figure is 2.1 litres per 100 kilometres. My real world usage is sitting at 4.8 litres, and that's after doing a little bit of open roading, but mostly urban trips this week. You can get up to 66 kilometres of pure electric driving range in this, but expect closer to around the 47 kilometre mark. The P300e has a Type 2 CCS charging port, which means that you can actually hook it up to a fast charger. And on a 50 kilowatt system, you can go from 0 to 80% in as little as 30 minutes. On a 7 kilowatt charger, that jumps up to a little over 2 hours, and expect to leave it overnight on a standard domestic socket. The P300e is unrated because it's not covered by its siblings' 5-star NCAP safety rating from 2022. It does feature a whole bunch of safety tech, misses out on lane departure warning, but it does have 7 airbags, and unusually the 7th airbag is a pedestrian airbag. I do have to call out though the traffic sign recognition tech because it is super annoying, and I made the effort to turn off the volume every time I got in and out because it just sounds like someone's hitting a piano key constantly during your drive, which I didn't like. But if you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au for all the safety tech. The Discovery Sport is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and the battery is covered by an 8-year or up to 160,000 kilometre warranty, both of which are normal terms for the class now. You can get a 5-year cap price servicing program for a flat $2,100, which is more affordable than the pay-as-you-go option. Servicing intervals are also very reasonable at every 12 months or just over 20,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. You also get 5 years roadside assistance included in your servicing package through Assist Australia. The Land Rover Discovery Sport P300e offers a beautiful and very practical cabin space. I wasn't always convinced on the powertrain, but it does offer good economy if you charge it often. I'm sure with time you'd get used to the multimedia system, but I think I would have preferred some of those added extras to be more affordable or at least just included, especially considering that you're at this price point already. I think it's got a really good on-road presence, it looks nice, and it's got a practical cabin space. So if you're looking for a plug-in hybrid, that might tick those boxes for you. So it gets a 7.6 out of 10 from me. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au. I'll see you next week.